We have those too.
Updated in the top. All right, we are live. I'm gonna step back from here because I'm pretty sure I'm a little loud. SEO this week. Welcome everyone to episode 141. We are going to do something a little bit different today. I wanted to do a product walkthrough. And the reason this came about is in the SEO world, there are influencers, and so oftentimes an influencer will either recommend or detract against the product for whatever various motivations. And I think that it's this is my personal opinion. Other people can, judge it however they want to. But if you are an influencer and people respect your opinion, you at least owe them to actually give an honest one, not just to do it and be done with it and just say, "Yeah, I did it," kind of thing. Just take the time to actually do it. And if that takes a little bit more, then that's what it takes. So in my case, I will be. You guys know I'm a predominant advocate for Page Optimizer Pro and Cora, but there's been a lot of comparison in the market with Surfer SEO. So I'm going to test the three head to head and see what's going on. Fuck you, robot. I'm blocking everyone today. They can all get pissed. So, what we are going to do today is give a fair shot to an SEO or a product developer who worked his ass off to create a really cool tool that has probably saved me about 13 to 20 hours a week with our mass link building and our mass page building. And that is Paul. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name, Paul. So welcome.
Thank you.
How do you say your last name?
Well, in Dutch it would be Ankersmit, and in English it would be Ankersmit.
Yeah, bless you. God bless you. And we're also accompanied by Ted. How you doing, Ted?
Oh, doing pretty good.
You still dealing with the old back issue, I understand?
Yeah, it came from the doctor this morning. So I'm getting better, though.
That's good. All right, so Paul, the product you made is Menterprise. Tell us a little bit about what it. Let's go. Let's just like to give you a 1,000-meter view of what it is.
Okay. Is it okay if I give you a bit of a background story?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. About 18 months ago, I was working on content for a mass page builder or a mass backlinking strategy that you and I know about. Now, the problem was it was taking me about 200 hours a month to do what I do now in 20 hours a month. But my productivity has absolutely gone through the roof. So people were coming to us, asking us what we were doing to have like millions and millions of pages indexed on Google search. And we were doing it all quietly in the background. So now we've got this whole 200 hours down to 20 hours. But what we've got with Menterprise is it's not a spinner. It's not an article generator. It's more like a complete toolkit where we do the research live. We do the content creation, which is if you've got a variable that you want to have is 800 to 1,000 word articles, it will go out live to all the SERPs. You can choose how many SERP results you want it to go out and find. And then it will create the structure using modules that will create, well, let's look at it. You need H tags, you need videos, you need images, you need raw items like maps, etc., NAP and GMBs. We can do all that in a couple of seconds. So what we're finding in usage over the last, say, 3 months, people are not only saving time, they're also saving money. They don't need to use a lot of the tools out there. And, well, unlimited usage so far. It's brilliant.
Would you classify it as a AI content writer?
Okay, the word AI is being bandied around quite a lot. I would say it's more a hybrid, an AI ML. It also has a machine learning. Like this week, we just passed the 1 million words per day threshold, which means that each time a new user uses this, our our systems learn a little bit more. So the more users, the more usage of the words, we get more and more training. The thing is also, I don't want to just say that everything that we do in this world is all English based. We do have users that are in, say, foreign lands, like Korea and Romania and Croatia. They can use Menterprise for, say, the English content, but we do have a very special function where we can use 150 different search engines, which means 150 different languages. And that will just create content instantly.
So if I want Vietnamese content, I can make Vietnamese articles with Menterprise.
Yes.
Sweet.
Okay, but bear in mind, that's not with Spintax, because we want to get as clean a article or page generation as possible. Well, with English, we have a very, very good spinner as part of the deal.
Perfect. Let's go ahead, and I know it's 4:30 in the morning there, so I want to be respectful of your time. That's why, in case you guys are all wondering, we're not going to do the news because it's 4:30 in the morning for the poor guy. Let's bring up Menterprise on the screen, and I want to just get the cat out of the bag right now and look at the pricing. Like, how much does this thing cost?
Okay, can you see my screen? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we'll start right at the very top here. By the way, for my eyesight, as I'm aging, I tend to have everything in dark mode, but you can, if you want to select light mode, you can also have your memberships. We're very upfront with our membership pricing. To be honest, 95% of our users are on the dedicated systems. Now, what that means is these are not shared resources. If we have, like, say, Clint, he's on an expert version like this, he has 2 dedicated engines. That means it's 2 to 4 times faster than the entry version. Plus he's got 4 million words to use per month. And he has all these different modules that make things a lot easier for him. We do have, we've just introduced the standard plans. These are more for people like students will try the light. A new person coming into the industry might start with the starter. And most of the people that are just trying to get some content for their own blogs or they're going to sell it are on the essential. But to be honest, this is where we're at. Most people are in the expert version.
So if I'm testing it, would you recommend the standard or probably the standard, right? And then more likely
I would go for this, Clint. You know, 100,000 words. You can do 100 times 1,000 word articles, which have unlimited spin and unlimited regenerations. You could literally create 1 million articles out of this if you needed to. And it's a good starting point. $2 a day. Hey, we can all handle that.
What do you think about how many articles you're actually getting? Because I know, like you said, I'm on the expert, the 295 expert. I got 4 million words. And I do mass link building and mass page building with it. And I have a team member that's also running it. And we barely even touch our credits. You know,
that's cool. Yeah, I understand that. It's like we've got a 24-year-old who blasts through this. You know, he does 1 million words per week. Other people are only doing 2 or 3 million. Now, to be honest, if it was me, I would go and try and experiment. If you don't have any limits, you're going to do a lot more. Now, also think about this. You know, we get hooked up with some of these other programs out there that go and scrape an e-zine article or a dead archived thing that's been sold 10,000 times. With Menterprise, we're doing live content. So with this, I'm going to say, what is the best drone in 2019? If I was looking at something like the Samsung S11, you know, you can't find that elsewhere. You have to go live. So rather than going online, typing in the domain name or the search term, we're going to do all this right now. So what is the best drone in 2019? I've set it for regular. If I was going to do more for content for a blog, I'd go for readable. If we're going to go and sell content to a blog or a client, I'd go for very readable. Now, that doesn't mean it's out of the control of the client or the person selling that article. We're getting close to being, well, some people call it readable, as in human written. If you want to spend $200 to $1,000 getting a reader or a writer, to do it for you, go for it. But, you know, we can do things in about 2 minutes that most people would take about a day. Okay. Here I've gone and set up the 20 SERPs that I want to have our systems go to. We do have different size word count. If you want to have like bios for social or image descriptions, YouTube descriptions, use 400. My purposes is around 800. We do have users that sell articles for 1,000 to 1,200 words. It's up to the person using it. Now this is really cool, man. Okay, imagine the guy in Vietnam. Now he could use Menterprise to grab information about what's the best drones in 2019. But if I actually used the Vietnamese of that particular term, like I've actually got a copy here. There you go. That's the Vietnamese. Now for my purposes, I can't actually read this. Probably you can't either. If I disable our Spintax and our cleaning systems and click this little button here and change this to Vietnamese and this to Vietnamese, it will actually go to the Vietnamese search engines and grab as much data related to that search term as it could.
So to
it
put
saves
this,
them time.
Yeah. So to put it simply, essentially what you're doing, like this is the basic function, obviously it's not the whole thing, but you're taking that keyword, you're going to the search results, you're looking at the top 20 pages in this instance, you're pulling all of that content out, and then you're mashing it together and you're creating a 800-word article. And in this case, you created 17 different pages that are all spun based off of that content.
Yes, based on what is the best drone in 2019.
So you're not pulling from like there's other tools out there. You mentioned the scraping the article directories and stuff, and but you're not pulling from, what is another one, like Article Builder, where they have a whole bunch of seed articles and then they create it off that seed.
No, this is all live. So if you've got something trending right this moment, like the Samsung S11, then put that in here. Now, I'm not also going to just leave it as a text string. If I have something like site colon, and it was a company like IKEA.com, and I want to have a modifier like kitchens, I can do that. So no, we're not limited to a term or a seed keyword or a phrase. And we could even put in title or in URL, or if we know of a blog, we could put the entire domain name or that URL in here, and it will go and grab that data. We've got researchers using this tool because it's faster than actually going out and using Google.
So if I wanted to write an SEO piece of content, I could change that to moz.com/blog.
Yes.
/ and then schema, and it'll bring all the articles of schema and make me an article, schema article.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. So you're not limited from that point of view. Now, let's get to the point where we're looking at text. All right. Now we can go to Fiverr, spend $20, wait a week to get that. And we've got a 500-word article. Now, what we're going to try and do here is we've actually created these. It took a couple of minutes. Now, if you look at this, this has got some sort of structure to it. Okay, an image at the top, there's hashtag, and there's some information here. Now, this is at regular, so it may need a little bit of tweaking, but that's up to you. Or you could say, let's respin this. We have unlimited respins per page over here. So now I've got image, image, image. I've got the hashtag here being changed. Now it's going to H1, H2, there's the video. All the way down, there's the map that I put in there, a video. Let's just say we don't want that to be in that space. We just hit regenerate. Takes a couple of seconds. Now I've got the video at the top. By the way, there is no word degradation here. If it's taken, say, 2,000 words to create an article, this will not go down no matter how many respins or how many regenerations you have. So I don't like a video at the top. So I'm just going to hit regenerate. Now I've got the image at the top, and all my hashtags are different as well. So we can actually control the way this looks. So what we've done over here, you start with the headers. So I've got 4 keywords or LSIs related to my industry. Okay, forget about this up here. and it's going to be spun through a spinner in here. So we're going to have alt text with these keywords in it, and we're also going to be able to create titles through this. But what we're going to do also, we're going to have images. Now, these are my client images, okay, or sorry, you know, the information that my client has given me. I have the alt text now with all my information through it. Now, if I don't have that, I can clear all this and just say, I want to have 10. Now, it's going to look for kitchens now. Notice how I've just changed the search term up here. It's going to look for IKEA kitchens. That's how quick it was. You're muted.
And it's pulling right off IKEA's site, right?
Yes. So if I wanted to, I could do that. And I can have the alt tags as well. All right. So at this point in time, there's the images. We've got the schema also put in there. We're going to have 2 to 3 images per article, etc. But what we'll do is we'll just go back to here and we'll just put in what's the best termite treatment. And you can just change this around as often as you like. I can go back here. There it is there. I've got, send those to here, and that's okay. Then I could just say, what's the top 10 drones in 2019 is my keyword. All right, what's the top 10 drones? I could go in here. And now I've got all that sorted out. I can go back over to here with the images. I'm just going to clear those images because they were about IKEA. I can just select 10. It's going to take only a couple of seconds. I'll just wait until that happens. Okay, there you go. You can unselect as many as you like. I have those now. Notice there's no alt text. I could put my own alt text in there. Just say, okay, force it over there. There you go. Now I've got all of my images with my alt text, with my branding, all in there embedded. I can even say how many images I want to have in my articles. I just drag that. Now with videos, same deal. If I've got my clients, I can put the videos in there. I could even grab some videos related to that and or add my own URLs in there for my client. Now, personally, I love to have my setups as random. Some people might want a video at the top, or they may force it to the bottom. So we'll just say, okay. And if I go over here now, I can see that I've got the video there. I can just hit regenerate. And there it is. There's the content. There's the video just there. I don't quite like the way this structure is. So I just hit regenerate. Now that's looking a lot better. So now I can just grab that as a HTML. So I'm going to put that as a post on a website. There you go. There's all the information there. There's the Google Maps. All done.
So when you push regenerate, like it's the original version came out, you didn't like it, and you push regenerate, it changes the spin. It doesn't just give you a different version of the spin that's already there, correct?
Well, that's a good point. Let's just say if we're using Article 1, then the setup I've had over here with the modules will determine what the text there is with respin. If you want to change the format or the way it looks, like this H tag is up here, that's pretty cool, but you just hit regenerate and now you've got another article related to that page's content. If you want to just hit that as a copy and you want to put that into, say, a mass page builder, there you've got it. Here's the YouTubes all spun. Here's all the images. Here's the alt text. All done for you. Okay, so now we've got that all sorted out. Now, what I quite like with this is we have an area that you can actually customize the raw. In this instance here, I've got a map of, say, Florida. I can have that map at the top, which is really good for, say, local. I could have it as random. I could have it as a number of those in the actual content, Or what I've got here as well is we know that there's needs for call to action, a NAP. So you can actually embed a NAP into this within seconds. And then a GMB is very important. But I've also created the ability to have code that we can share. So if we want to have like an in-content, like a rating system, I'll be able to share that code with you, and you'll be able to share it with your group. And it might be a closed group, and just you guys have the ability to create whatever you like. And it might be a geotagged images setup. It might be a rankings setup. We have that all available to people as well. So we just go over here, hit preview. That's pretty good. Just hit regenerate. There you go. All done.
And you can put as many embeds on there as you want to, right? So
yes, yeah. If you, there's really no limits, but just say you could have 10. Okay, so you just add another one. You can just say, okay, I need a NAP. The NAP pops up. You fill in all the details. They're live links. Add them NAP. And now if I actually did that even with nothing in there, I could just regenerate that. And now the input, there you go. There's the NAP at the top. Obviously, there's no content in there.
yes, so those of you guys that do iframe embeds of websites and such, that right there is a game changer for me, because it makes it so much easier to knock that out in all of my content. And when I'm doing mass link building with, say, GSA Seer, I'll throw the articles in there with that HTML, and it'll get me embeds and iframe embeds across the web on targets that accept it and ignore the sites that don't. So that's really cool.
Okay, there is another function here. This is, God, the guys that are doing launch jacking absolutely adore this function. Just imagine you've done, like you and I, Clint, have discussed, that we do these mass pages. Now, a number of those mass pages will be indexed. So what happens, they're in the SERPs, somebody clicks on that and it goes to that page. Now with Menterprise, it'll be a nice structured page. Google will like it and people will like it and they'll make some sort of action from it. Now imagine if I create, say, 100,000 pages over a period of time, 10,000 of them are indexed. That's 10,000 potential lead sources as well as the link juice. But imagine if I have something in here that I want to, I'm promoting drones at the moment. I have an affiliate link. I'm going to stick that in here. And imagine what's going to happen if I have this embedded into my articles. This is what Google sees, but this is what the client sees when they hit the SERPs. My affiliate page. There you go. All embedded.
Nice.
Okay, now it goes one step further. That was instant. But there are occasions where there's an affiliate launch in, say, 3 weeks' time. So you want to create 100,000 pages now. You hope that 10,000 of them might get indexed, maybe even 20,000 get indexed. But their affiliate offer does not go live until 3 weeks from now. So if you click on this button, we're going to embed that timer. You don't have to do anything. It'll instantly go live in 3 weeks' time when that launch happens.
See, I always wondered what the heck that feature is for, because I never dinked with it. But that's pretty cool. So I can set up and, I'm getting ready for a launch, use the S3 or the clouds, create 10,000 pages, for example, start generating traffic already.
Yep.
And then on launch day, all that switches right over magically.
Okay, now there's another side to it. I'm thinking about launch jacking here because that's what some of these guys in Italy and in Asia are doing, right?
Right.
However, there's another idea that we've got a real estate guy that's doing, say, seminars. They're $4,000 seminars. He wants people to go and create, these subscriptions or a booking or an appointment for that particular thing. But he doesn't want that to go live until about a week prior to the event. So he has this 3-week delay. So 1 week prior, he gets all these people to go to a sign-up page. Boom. Very cool.
Yeah, that is cool. And all that code is put inside of the articles now. Every one of those pages has that code.
Yes. So if I go up to view syntax, there's the redirect code. It's all obfuscated, and there's code in there that makes it really cool. And then you've got all the spin tags of all the article in there as well. Okay, but what we're going to do, just so that we see how good this is, I'm actually going to do a term that personally I have never been in this industry. What's the best HVAC repair company in, say, Los Angeles? Where are you guys based?
Ted's up in Seattle.
Seattle.
Let me ask you why you're doing it, since we're kind of going into that and doing a new search. Let's say I'm doing a local, I'm an HVAC repair. Do I search for HVAC repair Seattle, or you put a question in here? Which one is better?
There are two schools of thought here. With the near me and with Google local, it's about the search intent. People don't say to their phone, HVAC or repair. They want to ask a question like, how do I get, or what is it? And the top 10, if I was doing travel destinations, I'm not going to just say travel destinations,
right?
Because Google won't render the right information. But if I said, what's the top 10 travel destinations to Auckland, New Zealand? Now that's an intent. That will get far better information than just putting in Auckland.
And isn't true, it would also be the difference between pulling content from landing pages versus content from an article.
That is very important. That's a great point. If you just put in HVAC repair, that would probably render reference materials or wiki. Okay, it's not going to give you, I wouldn't say readable content, it's more reference content.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're going to get pulls from like Home Advisor and Yelp, etc., which would be, for lack of a better term, that would be garbage content.
Yes, in that instance, yes. But it's like photographers. If you try to do a search for photographers, they are very heavy image intensive. They have very little content. And even if you put this to 30 SERP, okay, that would be the first 30 SERP results, which is the first 3 pages on Google. You may only get a handful of pages, even at 800 words. But I do know that if you did something like, what's the best travel destination in Auckland, New Zealand, that is a very high word count. So you'd probably get 20 or 30 pages out of it.
So as a best practices, you would recommend people actually go to Google and verify that their seed keyword is going to bring up content versus, like the examples we gave was directories or images.
You know what? It depends on your word count. If you're on the standard plan, you'd probably burn through your word count pretty quick. But if you're on a dedicated system, then even 1 million words, you'd have to go through quite a lot to even touch your 1 million words. That's 1,000 word articles that have unlimited respins and unlimited regenerations.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've just said, you know, what's the best HVAC repair company in Seattle? To be honest, Ted, I don't actually know if there's anybody up there.
I don't know the market well enough.
Yeah, nor do I. So I'm doing some basic research here. Okay, so we're going for the first 20 pages on the SERPs. We don't know if it's going to come up with much content, but that's okay. We've got 800 words is our goal, and we're using the google.com. I could use it for Australia by just typing in Australia. Okay, and that would render different results. Okay, we've got 8 pages in 64 seconds. Now, guys, I think that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at this. We'll look at. Now, remember, this is content that Google has actually rendered as being relevant in the SERPs.
Within the top 20 of the search result.
Yes.
Okay.
So some of this might work. Okay, I don't like something in here. Okay, mentioning the keywords in here that we didn't even put up in here. Okay, now if I don't want that, I have the ability to use the replacer and replace it with something else or delete it completely. Okay, that's not too bad, but let's just
There's a
say
good example right there for if you scroll back down. There's a company name right there, Greenwood Heating Company. It's in the last paragraph.
Yep.
Show them how to replace that with just that word, Greenwood Heating Company.
that one there.
Yeah.
Okay, copy.
With
if you go,
Ted's HVAC Beasts or some craziness. That'd be cool.
Okay,
so they can see how that works.
Okay, let's just say we've got that happening. And Ted is going to be the replacement. Okay, Ted's HVAC company is here. And by the way, if you really want to, you can actually create spin tags in here that might be local relevant. So if you put a bracket in there, we could say Seattle. What's another place in Seattle, Ted?
Redmond.
Oh yeah, Redmond. I've been there. Redmond.
Yeah.
What's another?
Bellevue.
Bellevue. Is this all right?
E between the
Okay.
Bellevue.
See, that's why we have Australian and Americans. Just make sure that you have a pipe in here. If you're going to do this, you can actually do anything with HTML in here as well. So we'll just say, okay, that particular article, we need to get rid of that. So we're just going to regenerate because it's a whole new set of rules here. Now, it may or may not pick this up. No, it didn't pick it up. The reason why that may happen is because we're using spin tags. So some of the wording may have changed before I put in here. Okay. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
You regenerate it now.
Yeah, it could regenerate again.
Yeah,
so this is how we do it. Notice there's no change of word count up here.
No, didn't change it yet.
No. Okay. So in this instance, that particular name, we just have to spend a bit of time making sure that we got it properly. Okay, because there's probably some spin tags in behind it that won't allow us to do that. Cool.
So you got to tinker a little bit and make sure you get the.
Okay, now because we're starting from fresh, normally I'd have a little spreadsheet, and we're going to say best HVAC repairs. All right, what is the cost of HVAC repairs?
You spell like I do.
Yeah, I've got dyslexic fingers at 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to put 2 keywords in there. We're just going to send that over here. Now we've got H tags. Watch this, regenerate. Now this is where we start to think about, is it just words or are we creating a proper functioning document? Now, as you can see, there's a couple of things that I would like to change, and that is the frequency. Now up here is where we can change the frequency. Some people say 2 H tags is better than 1, and others say we need to have 3 H tags down in this area and maybe down here. Depending on the length of the article is how many you'll have in the article. So we'll go to something brand new, regenerate. Now see, this is all reference material. Okay, there you go. This article here is different to this one, which is different to this one. Okay, now we need to get images. Now this is going to be interesting. Let's see if we get images here related to that particular thing in Seattle. There you go. We'll deal with that. So now we can say we need to have H tags. Now we've got H tags, got images. There you go. Look at the structure of that it's already having. See that phone number? We could use the replacer to replace that. All right, now we probably need maybe a GMB. So let's say Ted's the best at HVAC. Okay, and we've got an address, PO box, whatever it might be. We've got the phone number. Okay, and a GMB link. Obviously, I don't have one right this moment. And then I could say, click here to learn more from TED. Add the GMB. And now we can grab over here. There's a flat text. There you go. It's the big GMB.
Nice.
But to be honest, I don't want it at the top, man. You know, you shouldn't be there. So we just go and say we need it elsewhere for the GMB. But I think what we could do is have TED stand out. TED is cool. Cool now.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some sort of garish color here.
Yeah, 6 days without a residential fire.
All right, so we're going to put you at the top as well, but maybe we'll put you at the bottom. So we'll just say okay and regenerate. HVAC at the top, image. There you go. There's a HVAC because I've told it to do it twice in the content, actually 3 times, and then we've got the call to action. Regenerate. There you go. Pretty cool and extremely fast.
Very cool.
So there you go, guys. That's only a 20-minute summation. You have unlimited abilities with this.
We get a question from Alex in the audience. Does it strip the metadata from the images? I would guess no, right? Because you're using the links and you're hot linking the images from wherever you scrape them from.
This is true, but the alt text you have some control over. Now, if you are using images for your clients like I do, I put them onto an S3 bucket, then I have control over what is in there.
Okay, and then you can do all your EXIF data optimization.
You can do
put
what
them
you
up
like.
on
Yep.
bucket and then use those URLs for all your
Yes.
stuff. Okay.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Okay. Anything else?
That looks like that's it in the chat. Guys, if you have any questions, it'd be a great time. Obviously, I'm kind of a fanboy of this tool, so I like it and I enjoy. Like Paul's gone over this like 4 times for me because it just, I'm needy that way. So
What's coming down the road? What are you guys working on next for the tool set?
We've been optimizing the speed, 2 minutes to do what we do in here is insanely fast because you've got to understand we're going out live, we're creating the content, we're cleaning up all the foreign matter. Like we actually get rid of Cyrillic characters in Japanese and Chinese just in case that comes up, and it gets rid of all the noise. All right, and then it gives you data, and then also we've got the spin tags in the English versions. I think there is a call for an automation system for auto posting at the moment. We just have the ability to put out different styles of content as an archived content. There might be an integration that will automate that. Okay.
What about API integration? Are you considering that?
There is a possibility. I won't say anything about that at the moment. However, I will say one thing though. We do have a call for SEO agencies that have VAs. Like TED, you might have 2 or 3 VAs. At this point in time, each system is dedicated, so you'd have to allow them to have access to that. Early next year, in the next 4 to 6 months, we'll have a dedicated agency systems where they can order their own number of engines, like for me and say Tony Peacock, we might want 8 engines, but we might only have 2 VAs. So it'll be engine and seat based, and you'll be able to allocate resources to them. So they might have 4 engines each, and they might have 2 million words each to play with during the day. Okay.
That's cool. One that's obvious thing is sticking out there. You haven't touched on that plagiarism protection. What does that do?
There is a little button. If you don't get to understand everything in the first run through here, there are little buttons in here that will give you an idea. Plagiarism protection just means we try and generate the content and it will have a higher uniqueness. Now, just for your own benefit, those that are using plagiarism checkers like Copyscape and all that sort of stuff, there is a lot of false positives with that. And with the tests that Clint and I have done and other experts have done, they're a tool we would not necessarily recommend.
Yeah. Well, I can fool that with characters. So you just put different characters in the content and you fooled it right off the bat. So.
Or in this case, we're looking at, you know, HVAC, repair, company, Seattle. They're all going to be false positives.
Yeah.
Like if I want to go to New Zealand, I can't put, well, I could put Aotearoa, which is the Maori version of it, but that's about the limit. Okay.
Okay. And one
way,
last question on your generation. Oh,
yes,
go ahead.
Go for it. I was
Okay.
going to.
What's the difference between that use top X and having that box checked and not having it checked?
Ah, that's a good one. Thank you. Oh, look, I'm lazy. I just keep this at 20 SERPs, only because I want the system to go out as deep as possible. Now, obviously, if you've got 30 SERPs in here, the results will become less and less relevant because Google can't always give you the most relevant content. But with this one here, you can actually ask it to go to as many pages as it can to deliver you approximately 7 pages based on the word count here. So you'd probably get 6, 7, or 8 pages. Okay, so it in some instances, it will go to the first 10 SERPs. Sometimes it'll get to the first 30 SERPs before it can actually render 7 pages.
Okay.
Okay.
And when you're saying SERPs, it's that whole search page 1 through 10 is one SERP?
Yeah.
Or?
No, that's the well, that's the first page.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see. I'm just going to put in here Vietnam. I want to show you something from a research point of view. We have people all over the world using this as a tool, not just for in English. Now we do have limited spin tags for foreign languages, but anything with Latin, like French, German, Spanish, Italian, that sort of thing, Dutch, Afrikaans, you would have limited spin tags. But there are people like, you know, the guy in, say, Vietnam, he wants to just use this for research. Now watch this. It's going to go out. I'm just going to use this 20 because I'm lazy. And we're going to clear all these because we don't want to have this related to that particular search term. I'm just going to create and generate. Now, you've got to understand, this is going to the Vietnamese searches for that particular term. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. It's related to drones. Okay, so it's going out, trying to get it, trying to search all the first 20 SERP results. It got 30 pages in 22 seconds. You can't even open up that many browsers to find that. But watch this. It's all in Vietnamese. Now, if we turned this button off, even using the Vietnamese as the search in it, our systems will, because we have, you know, 25 to 50 different filters in our system before it renders these page, all of these words would get rid of the A with the doubles and the weird looking thing in here and the whatever. Yeah. So it retains the entire integrity of that content. Now, this is not spin tags. This particular here is the first page, and it's going to get as much information about those drones as is. This is the 5th page. It's going to try and get as much information. You can see there's RAW and JPEG and USB in here, because they don't have in Vietnamese that sort of thing. But watch this. This is what I was blown away by.
Okay.
I don't know Vietnamese. I do know this is related to drones because the guy is into drones. Don't want that one. Don't want that one. And that one's not, well, it is a drone, but not what I'm looking for.
It's a really expensive one.
Ted's got it in his backyard. Okay, so we can go over here. We can regenerate this now because we've got a module live. Okay, so there's, oh, that's not the one that we wanted. There you go. We've got some images in there. And we can just go back here and say we don't want those particular ones when we do the search. Very simple, very fast.
can you, since it doesn't spin them on the original output, can you use that super spun function and spin those articles together?
That's a good point. This one here.
Like I'll take all 5.
Okay, we do have, look, okay, each one of these, in this instance, this is Vietnamese,
Right.
but in, say, English, this one would have maybe 1,000 to a billion variables. Okay, but for us, for this purpose, we're just going to grab these. And what this will do is it will grab all those 5 pages with all the attributes that you would have had as an input from here, and it's going to nest all those. So if we were to grab a notepad, there you go.
So
That's
if
all the
you're
nested content.
Yeah, so if you're doing a foreign language that has those characters and stuff, then you just have one extra step to do versus English. So.
And we've got people that, you know, because there's no spin in this, they might grab a paragraph like this one here, and they may spend, you know, 10 to 20 minutes and spinning it. Now they've got content related to their search, and now they've got some sort of spin content as well, because these images are going to be spun. Okay. So there you go, guys. One of the most powerful research tools, but also it grabs content really fast, especially in foreign languages. Just remember that when you're finished with it, take that little deal off and change it to Australia and
so
the USA.
Now you're showing all the cool stuff. I'll tell you the things that kind of irritate me about it.
Cool.
And really the only thing is that it is not saving the searches. So if I do my drone search, it doesn't save those searches. And then if I close it, the window, let's say for whatever reason, my computer crashes. Now I got to go back in there and do all that stuff all over.
That is a good point. It will keep the seed keyword, and it will keep all the settings of your modules, no matter what happens. Okay, and for my purposes, when I'm doing, say, pest control, I will keep these and I'll just change the seed keyword so I get different articles. So I'll just apply all these to it. Oh, by the way, that's a good point. I forgot to tell you, rather than going through all 30 pages and trying to regenerate each one by hand, I can hit this button here. And now all the attributes that would have been in here are now applied to all those 30 articles. That's how quick it was.
Nice. And then my other, it's really, all I really have is UI complaints because I'm lazy. But my other one would be if I have 7, well, in this case, 6 pages, I have to go through each one of those pages to check those boxes if I want to create a super spun article with all 6 of those.
True. So, but you can, what we've done with this, Clint, is we've limited the number to 10. So even if you highlighted these or checkbox them, you could go to any of these and just highlight them as well, but it's limited to 10 of these articles, because then you'd be, just say it was English spin and you've got all these attributes from the modules, you would have trillions upon trillions of variables.
What would be probably handy is just another button to the right of that one. It just says select the 10.
Oh, well, hey, listen, I'll make a note. Thank you, Clint, as an expert in your field. I've actually made a note. Select all 10.
Yeah.
Or a number, maybe even a number of.
Well, it would either be select all if you're just going to do 5. You just click select all and it selects those 5. Or if you want to max out, just select 10.
Well, that was a good point, because what we had in here, we used to have a number box here. You'd check that number box of, say, 20 or 30 or 40 images or whatever it might be, and then hit the search. Right. Now we've just implemented it into a one click. So we're always trying to improve our UI.
Yeah.
Okay. It has evolved over the last 3 months, for instance.
Oh, it's evolved since I got it. I've only been using it, 2 months now, if that?
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're saving time.
Yeah, it actually makes doing link building fun again, because the content part was always the pain in the ass part. So,
well,
you're big into spinning and stuff. What do you think?
I think it's really cool. I think it's like, one small step away from a lot of cool things. Like, I think it would be really awesome to see, a scheduler that would automatically spin based on, settings. So you'd set up, here's a list of keywords, here's a list of parameters, just pick at random and do a spin and publish via email publishing to WordPress. And here's my blogs that are all for, this configuration. Once a day, just put something new out on each blog. That's a really cool thing, and you are one tiny step removed from that.
I think that's a great idea.
There's another possibility. You could go a different route with it and figure out a way on how to enable content creators to monetize their content. So say I'm an article writer, maybe this tool set can help me put the high quality article I just wrote into high quality spin tags. And then I can sell spins to people. And you can set up a system where people could subscribe to writers who do quality work and get, buy spins for their blog. I would subscribe to Clint's spun content for $20 a month, and I would get his, every 2-day post coming spun to my blog. Maybe there are ways to not only just have this as a tool, but turn it into a way for people to make money more directly.
Yeah, we do have, I think that's a good point. We do have freelancers and copywriters using this as their base. And like we've got one in the Philippines that sells 5 articles to a fairly large company. She's spending probably an hour a day making the same money that used to take her a day to do the same thing.
Yeah. So if
that's her way.
If you cash this work and say, hey, if you want to make a little money on the side, we'll give you, X% of spins of things you created, where people could go to a marketplace, search for a keyword and pick and choose things that are good enough and just subscribe to them. And
we do have one guy that's selling stuff on these different marketplaces, and he's offering them, say, one article of 1,000 words rather than the 500 words that seems to be popular. For $20, he gives them the spin tax version for $25. So he's just made a little bit more profit. And then he goes to the point where he'll say, look, give me your keywords and your map and maybe some of your images, and I'll do that all for you for another $5. And I'll give you the spin tax version of it for $35. So he's doing that in bulk now. He's doing very, very well.
Nice. Okay, so we talked about the shut up. Jeez. Okay. We talked about the tool. Let's put a little learning point in here. You created it. You guys created this. You said 18 months. If there's a listener out there that wants to create their own SaaS, what is the number one lesson learned that you can kind of pass on to everyone? It could be make sure you guys do this, or make sure you don't do that, to help.
It's actually a really, really good question. It requires a long-term view and a lot of commitment, because no matter how you start, you think it's always going to be perfect, and it never is. Thankfully, as part of our team, our lead developer is also part of the Defense Force, has very, very high clearance rates and all that sort of stuff, and is extremely good at UI to keep things very simple. Has been actually very, very hard. And we do get asked for different functions that we may or may not put in because they get too complicated. And I've used softwares myself that, like GSA Sir, great software, it's too complex for me. Okay, and like with what we've done here, we knew the pain points were, I don't want to set up IPs, I don't want to do captures, I don't want to do proxies, I don't want anything to do. So we took all that pain on, and it takes us within 24 hours, we'll have a dedicated system to our users. everything done. They just log in and go. There's no extras. So from a functionality point of view, try and get rid of what you want to do, but listen to the clientele. And we had this being tested upon, for 18 months. This version is better than it was even 18 months ago. We didn't release it to the public until 3 months ago because we knew it was solid. And that's the other thing. Don't put out crap.
What? You can't put out crap. Come on.
I see a lot of it. It's about helping the people get what they need. And, obviously we've got some very high costs to try and manage with all this. And, it's not the cheapest product in the marketplace, but it's definitely what it's supposed to do is one of the best.
What are the most common reasons people contact your customer service?
At the moment, the reason we're getting a few more issues is because we've just introduced the starter plans. They're light, as in not everything is in the functions. Like the light one doesn't have the advanced modules or the raw and all these sort of things that they could program. So at the moment, that's really it. But our support, we don't have a lot of questions, Ted. We're getting better now that we've got the walkthrough and the sort of not a free trial, but the way to manage our product before they actually use it. That's helped a lot. But our major avenue right now is to create way better training materials. We're very light on training materials, support documentation, different ways. People have asked us, how do I use this with bulk, mass pages? We'll have those training videos out, but it's just a timing issue. We just want this product to be solid first.
You do, as part of your onboarding process, you were doing the walkthrough. I'm not sure. Were you doing that for everybody that signed up?
Okay, the walkthrough one-on-one.
Yeah.
We will allow an hour with anybody that joins as a dedicated user. I'll spend an hour with you. I'll step in an hour with Ted, and we'll walk through it. The other walkthrough we have is what they call a sandbox. It's like a preview. It has fixed keywords in there, but they can actually play with all the modules, put in their own input, and it's all about lawyers, unfortunately. But it's an overview, and it's a mini training before they actually get the product.
Okay. What are you planning on doing with that? Are you gonna, because if you do get popular, that's gonna get pretty burdensome pretty quickly, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I'm old school. I'm 61 years old, been in the marketing game for a long time. I've helped, create a huge amount of revenues for different companies. But I still believe that if you spend an hour with somebody and they learn in that hour, then I don't need to teach them ever again. So my resources are less over a period of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yes, we will have videos of trainings and stuff like that. That doesn't require me to be in the loop.
Yeah, you got to be sitting on the Australian coast.
Yeah, we do that
or whatever
already.
it is you do at 60.
Well, at 5:30 in the morning, we don't do a lot except you.
And I do appreciate it. And thank you very much for coming on. Everyone, since I am a greedy capitalist, my affiliate link is in the description if you want it, but you can go to get.menterprise.io and check it out. Again, we would recommend signing up for that $69 plan if you're going to test more of the features before you do go all in and go to the dedicated, which is just a little bit faster and some more credit. So, but ultimately you probably want to be on the dedicated stuff anyway. So that's what we use, just because we use it a lot.
You're right. It seems to be the most popular. 95% of our users are on dedicated.
Yeah. Ted, thank you for joining us. What are we doing on SEO Fight Club tomorrow?
Well, I'm still putting it together because I'm a lazy bastard this week. But I'm thinking it'll be something along the lines of patterns from #1 pages.
Hmm.
It's going to be interesting. We'll see what you got pulled out. You pulled a good one out last week, so we'll see what we're doing this week. No Kyle again, so we're free to chat away and not have to worry about lunchtime responsibilities.
Yep.
Sweet. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Again, Paul, Ted, thank you both for
My
coming.
pleasure.
And this has been SEO This Week, episode 141. We'll see you next
Thanks
week.
again. Bye now.